Hello, I'm Commissioner Emma I. Darnell, Fulton County, District 6. Welcome to Mighty Six Conversations. As you know, Conversations is a monthly information and education program that is based on the following concept: the sustainable community. Economically strong, environmentally safe, with liberty, justice, and dignity for all. The subject of today's conversation is, and I once again must paraphrase Marvin Gaye, the Environmental Justice Program. What's going on? Joining me in the conversation today is Monica Robinson, Health Program Manager of the Board of Health and the Director of the Environmental Justice Initiative. We are very pleased to have Monica with us today. Monica, you are the voice of the Environmental Justice Program. When we were planning our town hall meetings for this year, we always, of course, ask citizens, what are the areas that you would be most interested in? And over again, environmental justice. Environmental justice. I believe that that interest comes from the fact that it is board policy, that the protection of the environment not only involves protecting the environment, but protecting the people as well. And so, because of the tremendous interest which we have in not only District 6, but throughout Fulton County in this subject, I thought that perhaps it would be helpful to have you to give us a little background about that program, and also in terms of what are some of the challenges that we face ahead.
Yes, of course. Well, the Environmental Justice Program actually was funded and approved by the Board of Commissioners in 2010. And previously, as you know, Commissioner, that the county, even in the 1990s, had environmental justice programming and initiatives.
Yes,
but
back in the 90s.
Yes. But there was a reinvestment back in 2010 to create an environmental planner position to address and to coordinate environmental justice issues and activities within the county. And so since that time, I have been working with the program to begin to educate and to expose the residents and to give them a knowledge base of environmental justice and exactly what the environmental exposures and impacts are as it relates to public health, and just how we can begin to address some of those issues or how to mitigate some of the existing issues as it relates to the built environment, and also from the beginning points as it relates to planning.
Well, what are some of the activities that the program has been involved with within the county, working with other departments, for instance, planning and zoning?
Yes. One component of the program is providing public health and environmental justice input to planning decisions and decision making. And so some examples of that is the Environmental Justice Amendment with the Fulton County zoning resolution. Mm-hmm. And so during that process, the Environmental Justice Program partnered with the Planning and Zoning Department for Fulton County, as well as the County Manager's Office, as well as the County Attorney's Office, to begin to draft a resolution or the amendment for the environmental justice piece. And so that was approved by the Board of Commissioners, and so it is in effect for unincorporated Fulton at this time. And beyond that, we've had the pipeline amendment, which goes to talk about when there are planning stages that are happening in residential uses or land uses, that the consideration or review happens to protect the safety of people as it relates to pipeline easements. And so things like that. And then ongoing. It even
involved Public Works, didn't it?
It did. That's correct. Yes. And so then beyond that, a regular occurrence is the input that the program has towards providing public health input as well as environmental justice insight as it relates to zoning cases. So when municipalities or unincorporated planning department provides petitions that have been submitted to their departments related to zoning, land use changes, and they send it to us and we review it and provide comments as to what are the potential impacts, what are maybe existing regulations that may be regulated by or implemented by the Board of Health as it relates to environmental health, as well as, again, providing public health input and environmental justice input.
And you use as a basis for that analysis and participation that amendment that was made to the zoning resolution in 2013. Is that the basis for the review? It is the basis for in terms of land use issues.
Yes, ma'am. As far as unincorporated Fulton, but because it's only applicable to there. But there are some municipalities that also send their petitions for review by the Fulton County Board of Health as well.
And I think many people don't know that.
Yes.
And that's because the health authority is countywide.
That is correct.
It's not restricted to an unincorporated area.
That's
the
correct.
Health authority is countywide.
Yes, ma'am.
Many folks did not know that. I was not aware, though, that you received definite inquiries from cities for assistance in the development of their own policies.
There are some times when there are, for instance, with brownfields, in the area of brownfields, we've participated with steering committees as far as committees related to addressing issues. We've done that. We've also participated in health impact assessments with other governmental agencies as well to deal with particular development activities in that pre-planning stage, just to identify health impacts and how to mitigate those. So there are various activities that we do along those lines in partnership and collaboration.
Well, we can certainly understand why there's so much interest in it. You mentioned also during your report that we were working now with other jurisdictions or other groups to develop the guideline for this serious problem of mold.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us a little about that, because at every meeting, citizens express their concerns about mold and those kinds of internal conditions, which we know, of course, are injurious to health.
Yes, the project to which you're referring, it actually started from, or it was initiated with a partnership between Dr. Andrea Winquist with Emory University and Dr. Yomi Noibi with EcoAction. And there was a study that was done in the English Avenue and Vine City communities, and what they found that there was significant issues with mold in some of the homes. Some of them are privately owned, but many of them are rental homes. And so after that study, there was a process that we partnered with them in providing facilitation in beginning to problem solve and begin to see how to address those things. And one of the things that came out of it is that there needed to be a guide on how to deal with mold, what to do, because there was some interest among community members of potentially relocating. And so what the guide is to do is to look and see not just instructing people or giving guidance on how to move, but not move from an unhealthy home to another unhealthy home, but provide some guidance as far as moving from unhealthy to healthy. And then if for those that choose to remain in place, just exactly what are the health issues related to mold, what can be expected living in those conditions, and what can be done to remediate the conditions and the contacts that would be needed to begin to address those issues. So we're hopeful in partnership with EcoAction to begin to provide that for the community of which they've been asking. So.
And of course, the kinds of findings that come out of that kind of partnership and arrangement can be useful to citizens in other communities as well, even though this particular project focused on Vine City. That area, nevertheless, what you're developing will be useful outside.
That's correct, because I've had conversations with people in other parts of the county that also have had similar issues. And so, yes, it would definitely be helpful for the entire county.
Well, that is extremely interesting and important. We're going to take a break now, Monica,
Yes.
and then when we come back, I'd like for you to share with us the information you gave to us about some of the issues that are and challenges that are ahead.
Yes.
We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. One of the important aspects of the program updates, which all the departments presented to the town hall meetings, was that last section, not only planned, not only activities in progress, but planned projects. And I think that that was one of the more interesting aspects of your report, because I think that it is important that in government, folks know we have a plan and we are responding to evidence. So, what are some of the kinds of questions and some of the, I won't say challenges, because we want to continue to do what we're doing now, in terms of our partnerships and looking countywide, not just at one area. But tell us about that. Monica, and the kinds of ideas and situations and conditions that we need to be aware of as we continue to implement board policy in this area.
Yes. Well, citizens actually have expressed on various occasions in the land use area about the placement or the location of certain type of facilities near residential areas and also across boundary lines. And so one of the things that we would like to see in 2018 is begin to build partnerships across various governmental jurisdictions to begin to look and see how
that's going to be critical, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Partnerships are and collaborations are very important, because we're working on a smaller geographical area. So while one jurisdiction may be working, when we're working in concert together, we can have a bigger impact. And then there are, residents that really maybe do not understand the full aspect of what's going on in their community. So there's a piece of collaboration, but also collaborating to educate, because
that's critical.
It's very critical, because environmental justice, as I like to explain it simplified, is fair treatment and meaningful involvement. In order to have,
it's key, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And in order to have,
without that involvement, it's it misses that juice, doesn't it?
It does, because in order to have meaning and involvement, you have to have knowledge.
You have to have the information,
and the information correctly in the evidence base. And so hopefully in 2018, what we can do is begin to collaborate not just with the governmental entities, but collaborate with the residents themselves.
Civic groups.
Yes, civic groups.
Small communities,
groups. Neighborhood associations, and things like that, and begin to build a group of people to a knowledge base to begin to address some of the concerns that are expressed about health and about environmental impacts. And so beyond that, what we also would like to do with the program is to take that information and begin to see what is currently out there, what currently is being done, and how we can improve upon that.
You don't always have to invent the wheel, do you?
No, you don't. And so someone may be doing a piece of what needs to be done, and someone else may have another answer. But when we come together and collaborate and build that comprehensive
how you do
plan,
anything in government, really.
Exactly.
Yes.
So crossing departmental lines, crossing governmental jurisdiction lines, and again, building up the entire community, working even in areas with law enforcement, code enforcement, and just building up all areas of the community and those people that seek to serve.
Well, once again, it just seems as if the key to meeting our responsibilities in government is to inform the public. That's very important, isn't it?
Yes, information, yes.
And it's my understanding that in the area of pollution, which remains a major challenge for not just Fulton County, but for the nation and the world. I was reading something about global pollution, and it indicated that of all of the health challenges that we face, you know, pollution really is one of those that has the greatest impact. But says that that so many times looking globally, people miss it because it's not as glaring.
Yes.
You know, they don't really see it. But when the time comes, though, to assess health status, then they do.
Yes.
I'd like for you to comment, too, Monica, on this whole concept that we have here at Fulton County about the sustainable community. This is the first time we've had one of our professionals in to talk about that second one. When we say sustainable, we mean economically strong and environmentally safe.
Yes.
They are not separate. We can do them both, can't we?
Right. Yes, you can. And because health is a unifier of that public health, because what people fail to realize is that public health touches all aspects of our lives. So when we talk about public health, you're talking about from birth until through aging, and we're talking about our living conditions, how we live, work, and play.
Self-sufficiency.
Self-sufficiency.
Yes,
and
one of our major strategic goals.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we're talking about, you know, how it touches, when it touches us, and so it involves policy. We can get into things such as transportation. So sustainability and health go hand in hand.
Yes. Well, I read one article that was trying to establish that without environmental safety, you know, well, really, they put it the other way. Those communities that have the highest levels of environmental safety also have the highest levels of economic growth.
Yes.
And they offer some evidence of that.
Yes.
And as usual, I'm going to send that down to you all to evaluate anything we read in this area. We're going to ask Board of Health to look at that and evaluate it. But the data was rather persuasive. It was developed by one of the agencies at the United Nations.
Yes.
And they said not only are they not in conflict, as some people think they are, but actually those communities that actually have made the most progress in dealing with the safety of their citizens in terms of pollution and so on, they also have very impressive economic growth. But here at Fulton County, we've, as you pointed out, you know, since the early 90s, the board has taken a position there is no conflict. And I think the evidence pretty much supports that because the Board of Health has continued to develop this program, supporting programs not only inside but outside. And Fulton County remains one of the strongest counties economically in the state. So I think we have some evidence of that you don't really have to sacrifice economic growth in order to keep your citizens safe.
That is correct.
Well, we certainly thank you for this information, Monica, and for all that you're doing. We kind of kid a joke a little bit behind your back and saying, there goes Monica, that's our environmental justice program. But it looks like we're not the only ones saying that. It looks like throughout the Atlanta region. So let's get Fulton County's environmental justice. Call Monica Robinson. Well, we certainly do appreciate and thank you so much, Monica, for your personal commitment and, of course, your high professionalism.
Thank you.
We look forward to next year. And I think the focus you have is a good direction for us, and that is to make sure that we go out, not just from our offices, but we go out and be able to, you know, give the people the information that they want. And it's from there that we really build, don't we?
Yes.
Thank you so much again, Monica, for coming in. I'll be back in a moment with closing thoughts. We'd like like to express appreciation to the Fulton County Board of Health and to the Environmental Justice Initiative for all that you have done in the exercise of the health authority, which is countywide, to implement board policy in this area which has so much interest among our citizens. And also to thank you for all that you will do in the future to help us meet our responsibilities to protect the health, the safety, and dignity of all the people of Fulton County, irrespective of boundaries or zip code. Together, we will get it done. Stay strong. To learn more about today's conversations, you may contact me by telephone at 404-612-8222. That's 404-612-8222. You can also email me at emma.darnell@fultoncountyga.gov, and also contact us at emmadarnell.com, or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.